It's time to talk about the elephant in the room. Why has it been 5 months without a new Royish Good Looks song? Where the heck is the Hello There song? And when can we actually expect some new music from Royish Good Looks? Well, on today's episode, we're going to talk about just that. Welcome to the Royish Good Looks Podcast, episode number 22. My name is Roy, and thank you for joining me. If you are a fan of this podcast, if you're a fan of my music, consider signing up for my Patreon at patreon.com/RoyishGoodLooks. For those of you who are really concerned about this 5-month lull that I've been not posting new music, well, on Patreon, I've actually been releasing new music every single month. I've released acoustic versions of my songs, covers of my favorite songs, and even some unreleased original music that's not even about Star Wars. So this isn't just a shameless plug. If you're not signed up, you've been missing out on all of that and more. Plus, it is the best way to directly support me, this show, and my music. So if you like any of those things, sign up today at patreon.com/RoyishGoodLooks, or just click the link in the description or the show notes of this episode. Thank you to all of my patrons, and now let's get down to business. So I've been getting a lot more comments lately asking, when is a new song coming out? Where's the Hello There song? It's been a really long time since you posted. When are you going to make a new post? And I totally get it. It's been 5 months. It's kind of a long time to go in between releasing anything if you're a social media person. And I think it's fair that I address it here on the show, even though I know it's not going to be heard by every single person commenting on my main YouTube channel. Maybe if I give this video a really good clickbait title, we can funnel some of those people in to get the message here. But if nothing else, I can at least rest easy knowing that I got this off of my chest. I look at this podcast as a little bit like a diary. Sometimes it's behind the scenes stuff and how-to and inspirational success stories. But today's going to be a little bit more off the cuff, a little bit more of a rant. So here it goes. A couple days ago, I made a tweet that said, there used to be a time when nearly every band wouldn't release new music for years at a time. It's been 5 months since my last song. I know the times and expectations change, but I'm going to post whenever I feel like it. Y'all are spoiled. That's basically the TLDR of this episode today. I know that it's not the year 2002 and that it's totally acceptable for a band or an artist to put out music only every 2 years. The expectations today are completely different. You don't have 2 years to figure out your album. You've got maybe 1 week before people get bored of the last thing you did, and you've got to have a new great idea or a new thing to post. I totally get that we consume things a lot faster than we used to, and we've been kind of conditioned just to expect new stuff all the time. But there's still a lot of things that haven't changed since 2002. The most important, I would say, is the mental health and the creative bandwidth of the average human being, of which I would consider myself an average dude. There's only so much time and energy that you can devote to a creative project before you just burn out. But every single social media app and every single algorithm, especially YouTube, encourages you to give as much energy as you possibly can so that you can sustain and grow whatever thing it is you're doing, which makes sense because they want you to succeed. But the one thing that YouTube analytics will never show you is how happy or fulfilled a creator actually is. So for me, I'm not going to say that I'm burnt out. You know, here I am making a podcast, and I've done this for 22 weeks in a row now. It's not always easy to stick to that schedule. This week in particular, I'm kind of scrambling for an episode, to be honest. That's why you're getting this rant. But I wouldn't say I'm burnt out when it comes to writing music or wanting to make more music. I can't turn off the musical part of my brain. I am almost always feeling musical to some degree. And that's the thing. I actually have quite a few demos of choruses and half-completed songs and almost totally completed songs. One of which happens to be the infamous Hello There song. One of my most common comments on YouTube is, you should write a Hello There song. And of course, I read all the comments and I take them into consideration, but I looked at it as more of a running joke than a serious suggestion. Eventually, I gave in and started working on one, though. In fact, the oldest demo I have of the song goes all the way back to May 2020. I got pretty much all of the bones of the song together. I had 2 verses, a chorus, and a bridge. But since this song already had such a cult following behind it, I knew that it had to be really good. It couldn't just be an afterthought. So I started to be really critical about the arrangement of the song, the pacing of the song. And in June 2020, I made another demo version of the song. In July 2020, I made another demo version of the song. Despite my best efforts, it just wasn't shaping up the way I liked. I just wasn't totally proud of the song. So I switched gears for a little bit. I wrote and recorded Padme's song, Save You, and This Is the Way, which were 2 songs that kind of wrote themselves and came together really quickly, really easily, and I was proud of both of them. I returned to the Hello There song after those came out and made yet another version of it. This time I completely switched the genres and tried to give the song a shot of adrenaline, but it just still didn't feel right to me. And again, this isn't like, oh, I have the chorus, but I don't have a verse. This was literally a whole song, start to finish. I would probably still need to re-record the vocals, but the song is there. I'm sure this is driving somebody just bonkers listening to the show. Like, just put it out. Like, you got this song done. Just put it out. This is probably the hardest thing to stomach about this whole stupid Hello There song thing. The song probably is just fine. I could probably play the Field of Dreams card a little bit. If you build it, they will come. If you write this song, somebody is probably going to listen to it. I feel like this is similar to my I Have the High Ground remix, but nobody was requesting me to make that song. Really, that song is equally as silly of a concept to write a song about one line of dialogue that happens to be a meme. But I guarantee you there was no second guessing with that song. I just made it and put it out. And of course, that's my 3rd most popular song of all time. So that's kind of where I see the problem. I have tried so hard on this Hello There song that I've just sucked all of the fun out of it. So fall of 2020, I let the song sit again. I tried to find new inspiration in the new season of The Mandalorian. And when that wrapped up, I wrote My Baby Grogu. And a few months later, in March 2021, I put out Feel the Force. And I started this podcast at that same time as well. And it was always my intention to do the podcast, to grow my Patreon, and to still write songs and put them out on the main channel. And at the beginning of this summer, I told myself, you've got to figure out the Hello There song, just tweak the arrangement for a day or 2, record the vocals, and just roll with it. And I did end up recording official vocals for the song, but it's like this song is cursed. It's been around for over a year, and no matter how much work I put into it, it doesn't seem to be getting it closer to the finish line. I do think there's some sort of mental block of, because I can't finish that song and because everyone wants that song, that it is sort of distracting from being able to just freely create other music. And I think this is the biggest lull I've had since after Hello from the Dark Side came out. And I know that's disappointing for someone who is a big fan of my music. But you have to know that as a creator, I get a lot of fulfillment from actually being able to put out the stuff that I do make. So it bums me out just as much as it bums you out, and probably more, because I'm reminded of it on a constant basis every time I log into my YouTube. So, Hello There song needs more work. Now the question is, well, what about anything else? What else do you got, Roy? And that is the $1 million question. I'm always looking for those lightning in a bottle moments where I'm doing the dishes and all of a sudden I have a great idea. Let's hit the studio, start fleshing this out, and the process can just snowball organically. And whenever that happens, it always results in something worthwhile. I know that that's a frustrating strategy, that I look at songwriting as more of like hitting the lottery, but that's what makes it fun to me. If I don't enjoy the process, I'm not going to do it. But I also do have to admit that making this podcast does take some time out of my week. If I spent just as much time working on the podcast as I did coming up with new ideas or just jamming in the studio, yeah, I'd probably have some more song ideas kicking around. And I guess if we're going to be objective, that maybe I should try that. Maybe I should sit down and pull a Jonathan Mann and try to write a song a day or a chorus a day or something like that. It's clearly a slippery slope. It's already been 5 months, so something's got to give. I know that. And I also hate to let anyone down, including myself. The only thing that I can do is what Obi-Wan suggests to Luke in A New Hope.
You must do what you feel is right, of course.
To me, that's just taking it day by day. And when the moment strikes, I'll jump on it. And as soon as I have something that I am truly proud of, you'll get a notification that Royish Good Looks has uploaded a new song. And a week later, you can ask, when are you going to write another one? And like I said, if you are really dying to hear some new songs from me, I post new bonus tracks to my Patreon every month. Plus, patrons get a ton of other awesome perks, like ad-free episodes of the podcast, access to Ask Me Anything threads, where you can ask me anything you want. I'll give you an answer, and I might even answer you on the show. If you're an artist or a musician or podcaster, or you're just a creative person yourself, I will check out your work every month and give you my personal feedback and any advice I can. Plus, you can connect with other creators through our creator circle on Patreon. And if you want the ultimate bragging rights, you can get your name listed as a producer on this podcast and my YouTube videos. So it's a whole community, and I'd love for you to be a part of it. If any of that sounds cool to you, sign up at patreon.com/RoyishGoodLooks. Otherwise, just give me a follow on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok at Royish Good Looks. Join our private Facebook group called Royish Good Looks. And whenever you're listening to the show, share the podcast episodes in your feeds and tag me. I really appreciate the support, and I really appreciate the patience in between songs, and I really appreciate you listening today. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll talk to you on the next episode. Take care.